Goliath fighters take to the pit like rats take to carrion. Most end their days bleeding out on the arena floor or moving on to lead gangs or don the mantle of an alpha, but for some the pit becomes home. Atillus the Axe has been the reigning champion of the House of Pain arena for over 100 great cycles, far longer than any to come before him. A forge master from the Fist of Hive Primus, Atillus began his life bent over a lathe anvil, crafting brute cleavers and renderizers for the clan. When the great Goliath blacksmith forged his masterpiece, a chain axe cyberarm of prodigious size and sharpness, he trusted no one but himself to test its blade in the pit. Dubbed the God Cleaver, Atillus hacked off his own arm so he could fix the monstrosity in place, turning himself into as savage a pit fighter as the clan has ever seen. Atillus and his axe arm drew huge crowds from Hive City, and over a gruesome season of murder, Atillus rose to become the star pit fighter of the House of Pain, turning the arena red with his kills. The Spider Twins, Willowfex the Reaper, and the slave Ogrin Hammerstein all fell to the Godcleaver. Huge sums were offered for beasts from Hive Bottom just to test Attilus's skills, and lend to the pit fighter earning a new title. Atillus the Undefeated. These days, Atillus still fights in the pits, but can be coaxed away by a Goliath gang for the right price. G'day and welcome back to Wellywood Wargaming. My name is Damon, and in this series I'm going to be exploring all of the hired guns, dramatis personae, bounty hunters, hangers-on and stuff in the game of Necromunda. We're only 5 episodes in and we're still on A's as we go alphabetically through the list. Here we have Atillus the Axe, Pit Tyrant of House Goliath. This guy does not have an official Forge World or Games Workshop model, of course. I do believe that you could convert this guy pretty easily. Just give a Goliath stimmer or something a huge chainsaw arm and you are good to go with maybe a skull head, I don't know. But this guy would be fairly easy to convert up and kit bash, I believe. However, will they do an official model? Probably at some point. But let's get into the stats and how this guy actually is in the game. He has 275 credits for Atillus the Pit Tyrant. 275 credits is quite a lot. Again, you could use this guy as an outcast leader, but that is quite a lot of creds to spend in your games, as a hired gun. However, if you're using a bounty mechanic, then this guy is also viable. He is only available, however, for Goliath gangs, no one else. So it is what it is, I'm afraid, on that one. Let's have a look at the stats real quickly, though. For a movement, we have a movement of 5, which is really fast for a Goliath. Movement 5 is average for everyone else, but for Goliaths, it's really, really good to have that extra movement, because movement 4 kind of sucks after a while. So movement 5 is excellent, gives you a bit of speed there. And we have a weapon skill of 2, which is, of course, the sort of standard for any sort of Goliath, superhuman, big bastard, close combat guy. We have a ballistic skill of 4+, and he does actually have a shooty weapon here as well, which is kind of weird. We have strength 5, which is massive, toughness 4, of course, because he's a Goliath, and 2 wounds, which isn't too many for a guy that costs this much. Initiative of 3 up, though, which is fantastic. I suppose that takes into account his pit fighting prowess. And a whopping 4 attacks, which is quite nice indeed. Mental stats wise, we have a leadership of 8+, a cool of 5+, which is great, willpower of 7+, and intelligence of 6+. For skills, we have ball charge, which is +1 strength and knockback on the charge. I really like this skill. That is a what they call brawn skill. We then have 2 muscle skills, Iron Man and Unleash the Beast. Iron Man is pretty great, and Unleash the Beast is the one where you can flex and move people away from you. Iron Man is awesome. Your flesh wounds don't count towards your toughness, so you remain at the same toughness no matter how many flesh wounds you take. You still die and stuff, but it just doesn't actually reduce your toughness in game. Really, really good. We have a stub gun and a God Cleaver. The God Cleaver was mentioned in the lore there. However, it isn't actually quite as fancy and good as you might expect. It is exactly the same as an ordinary chain cleaver. Of course, chain cleavers are pretty nice. They're unwieldy. The only difference with the God Cleaver and an ordinary chain cleaver is that this one has pulverize, I believe. So +2 strength and -2 AP, 2 damage. All 2s for the chain cleaver. Very nice indeed. We have furnace plates as well, so 5-up armor from your front arc. But the main reason why you're going to want to take this guy is the fact that he is undefeated. That's the unique special rule that we have here, and that means that you can ignore the first out of action results suffered on the injury dice in the game. Very, very cool. The reason for this is Atillus has no concept of defeat, and he's never been bested in close combat. So I'm pretty sure a corpse grinder butcher could probably best this guy in close combat if he charged first, but you know, we're not going to talk about that. This guy's never been undefeated, he never will be. The only problem I say with this guy in games is he doesn't have any sort of mechanic to avoid being pinned, which kind of sucks, but he does have the extra movement to be able to stand up and move at least better than a slug like most Goliaths. So if you really want to deal with this guy, you get an Escher gang with 5 credit las guns just to pin him all game, and you're going to be really frustrated. However, if you took this guy as your outcast leader, you could of course give him a skill like Nerves of Steel later on down the track if you give him the right archetype. Anyway, I'm waffling now, and that is Atillus the Axe. That's all I'm going to really talk about with Atillus there, so I hope you look forward to the next video. Of course, to keep me doing these videos, please do like, share, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and comment down below for the algorithms, etc. Catch you on the flip side.